Hey you guys, it's Mary. I'm the girl who loves maths. Welcome to today's lesson. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to factor quadratics. We're going to be working on these problems today. Make sure you stick around right up until the end as the last problem is just that teensy bit tricky. Okay, let's head over to my iPad where we can get stuck into today's lesson. In this first example, we are being asked to factor the expression 2t squared minus 13t minus 7. You'll notice that we have a coefficient out the front of our t squared. This can sometimes make you feel as though it's a little bit more confusing to solve, but never fear, I'll teach you how. The very first thing we want to do when we are factorising any expression is to see if we can take out a common factor. In this case, there's no common factor of 2, negative 13, and negative 7. So we'll just move on. I'm just going to rewrite our problem here. Our first step in factorising, we're going to multiply this coefficient of the t squared by negative 7. That gives us t squared because I've picked up that 2 and I'm multiplying it by the negative 7. So I have t squared minus our 13t. The 2 multiplied by the negative 7 gives us negative 14. Now we need to work on factorising this expression. So what we need is to find two numbers that multiply to give us negative 14 and that add to give negative 13. I'll set up a couple of tables here to help us. So let's start with the factors of negative 14. Well, we've got negative 1 times positive 14, that gives us negative 14. 1 times negative 14 also gives us negative 14. Then we've got negative 2 times 7 and also 2 times negative 7. That will also give us negative 14. So we've come up with 4 pairs of factors here. We need to see which pair adds to give us the negative 13 that we're searching for. Negative 1 plus 14 gives us positive 13. The 1 plus the negative 14, well, the positive and negative just give us a negative. So we're left with 1 minus 14 gives us negative 13. Just what we were searching for. So now we can go ahead and use 1 and negative 14 as our factors. This will give us t plus 1 and t minus 14. So if we were to expand this out, what we'd end up getting is the expression in the line above. We're not quite done yet. Remember at the start we multiplied this 2 by the negative 7? Well, we need to undo that operation. So in order to do that, we need to divide each constant within the parentheses by the 2 that we multiplied out in the beginning. Let's simplify that. We get t plus, well, 1/2 can't be simplified any further, so I'll leave it as is. And in our second set of parentheses, 14 divided by 2 gives us 7. So I'm left with t minus 7. You'll see we still have this 2 as the denominator. So what we're going to do with it is pick it up and shift it to the front of the parentheses by multiplying it by our t. So we'll have t times 2 gives us 2t plus the 1, which was our numerator. Multiply all of that by t minus 7 and it's complete. Let's try out another couple of examples. Have you subscribed yet? If not, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for new videos every week. In example 2, we are asked to factor 12d squared minus d minus the 6. I'll start by just jotting it down here. Recall that when we're factoring any expression, we like to see if we can take out a common factor. 12, negative 1 and negative 6, there's no common factor there greater than 1, so we'll just move ahead on to our next step. And that is to multiply this 12 by the negative 6 over here. It makes our expression a little bit easier to work with, so we're left here with d squared, because I'm already picking up that 12 and multiplying it by the neg 6 at the end. So d squared minus the d here in the middle. 12 multiplied by the negative 6 will give us negative 72. Now it's time to factor this expression by finding two numbers that multiply to give us negative 72 and add to give us negative 1. That's really like negative 1d. We don't have to write the 1 though. I'll take you over here and set up a couple of tables. So the factors of negative 72. Well, I'm just going to start with negative 9 and positive 8. They multiply to give us negative 72, just like positive 9 times negative 8. I'm not going to bother by finding any other factors of negative 72 because I'm pretty sure one of those is going to add to give me negative 1. So let's start here. Negative 9 plus 8. Yep, there we go. We've already found the negative 1 we've been searching for. So we know that negative 9 and positive 8 are our factors. So we'll be left with D minus 9 and D plus 8. Remember, we're still not finished because we have to go back and undo this multiplication of 12 that we started with. So to undo that, we're going to divide each of the constants inside the parentheses by the 12 that we multiplied out earlier. Let's go ahead and simplify these as much as possible. 9 over 12 can be simplified to give us 3/4 or 3 over 4. And 8/12 can simplify to 2/3. We're still left with a couple of denominators here. So we need to pick them up and multiply them by the D out the front of each of the parentheses. 4 times D gives me 4D, and I'll be left with minus 3 as the 3 up here is the numerator. And 3 times D gives us 3D, and then we'll add on the 2, which is the numerator in the second set of parentheses. Now we've completely factored our expression. On to our third and final example. In this problem, we're factoring 8x squared plus 26x plus 20. I'm going to rewrite it so we can start working on it right away. Hopefully you can see already that a common factor of 8, 26 and 20 is 2. So I'm going to bring that out the front of a set of parentheses. 2 times 4x squared will give me my first term, 8x squared. 2 times positive 13x will give me my second term, positive 26x. And finally, 2 times positive 10 will give me my final term, positive 20. Now that we've taken out the greatest common factor, we can go ahead and factor as we have been in the previous examples. Let's focus on the inside of this set of parentheses. What we're going to need to do is pick up this 4 and multiply it by the positive 10 at the back here. So we'll start by writing the 2 outside the front of the parentheses. We'll be left with x squared plus 13x, and 4 times 10 gives us 40. I'm going to take you across here so that we can factor this polynomial. For the factors of positive 40, let's go with 10 times 4. We could also do negative 10 times negative 4. However, 2 negatives aren't going to add to give us the positive 13 that we're searching for. So that means I'm just going to stick with positive factors in this example. 8 times 5 will also give us positive 40, as will 2 times 20. Let's see which pair add to give us the positive 13. Well, 10 plus 4 give us positive 14. The negative 10 plus the negative 4 is just going to give me negative 14. 8 plus 5 gives us the positive 13 we are after. So we know that 8 and 5 are going to be our factors. So we have 2 multiplied by x plus 8 and multiplied by x plus 5. I hope you've remembered there's one final step. We need to undo this multiplication of 4 we did early on. So that means we need to divide each of the constant terms on the inside of the parentheses by that 4. Let's go ahead and simplify as much as possible. 8 divided by 4 gives positive 2, and x plus 5 on 4 can't be simplified and remains at 5/4. Our final step to fully simplify is going to require us to multiply this 4 by the x. So we'll have 2 multiplied by x plus 2. The 4 times the x is going to give 4x, and we'll be left with the 5. And there we have it, our third and final example complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have no doubt that you've mastered this concept now. And as always, if pre-calculus is what you're studying, you can grab my course down below and try it out for just $1. Okay, I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.